Good morning and welcome to Bowtie Life, where we talk mostly about gardening, sometimes about life. And if you follow along, well, if you don't follow along, please subscribe. We release a video almost every day, a video or a short, and we talk about the progress in the Bowtie Gardens, and sometimes, like today, we get to talk about progress in someone else's garden. As a handyman, I've got the opportunity to upgrade this beautiful small urban garden with some raised beds like mine, kind of like mine. We instead of putting the cement on top, we put wood, and it is glued down with the extra tough liquid nails, which is rated for exterior applications, water and in weather. And we have filled these beds with equestrian compost. We have a equestrian center near here that I can get trailer loads of equestrian compost pretty much as I need for free. And we dig out some of the oldest stuff in the pile. Some of it's up to 20 years old. So any concerns about things like chemicals and grazon and other stuff in there, long gone. Long leached out, but but stuff is still breaking down. This stuff is beautiful. It is alive. It has nutrients. It has biome. It has worms and other stuff in it, and does really good for the garden. But I wanted to just cover a couple of recommendations for creating a new bed that I've discovered. As a new gardener, this is my 4th successful year of gardening, and as a new gardener, I wanted to share a few things with you about what I would do different. Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave. Now there is a video on me making these very beds, so be sure and look for that up in the corner of this video. If you're on a device that does cards, that's what those things are called in the corner when you see them. If you're not on a device that's uses cards, the very closing screen on this video will have a link to that video as well. The closing, not credits, but the please subscribe, the white screen with the 4 places in it. But anyway, it's a little bit of my background. I enjoyed gardening. My mom had a garden, a very successful garden, I think. And I tried gardening occasionally over the years. As a preteen, I tried to grow some cucumbers. I grew some beans as a science project. And let's see, what else? Well, I guess the next serious attempt was in our cabin in Arkansas, where I tried to grow tomatoes. I had one pretty successful year of growing tomatoes, and the next year failed, and I hadn't supplemented the soil at all and learned about that. I didn't know until more recently what happened, but that's what happened. And so I've learned a bunch of things over the years, and these raised beds, there's a few things that I have learned about these beds. And first off, let me go back 4 years. In fact, if you don't follow us on Facebook, you may not have seen the pictures we were posting 4 years ago, some of them, of where we started. We lived in an apartment. We grew plants in pots, a lot like these right here. And then I moved to grow bags, and I really liked the grow bags. I liked how they drained the soil. They seemed to do a lot better for the roots. And you can see in these pictures I'm showing now that there's all kinds of stuff that I'm growing in, and I still use the grow bags. I still have a bunch of grow bags around in my front yard. If you ever look at the garden tours, the front and side garden tours, I have tons of grow bags back there, or up there, I should say, and plenty of grow bags. I still like them. But now I've got beds like these, and one thing we're going to do here is a very strong recommendation, and this may not be possible, and I'll admit that. And what I'm about to say, you got to take your situation and deal with your situation, but all I'm trying to do is give you another idea of something, an option. One of the things is I know that these beds are not going to get planted in for a few months. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cover these over with cardboard and set the pots on top of them so that the moisture will wick through, the soil will stay moist, the mycorrhizal activity will start to develop, the soil will become even more alive after the trauma of being dug up from the equestrian center, transported here, shoveled into here with a wheelbarrow, and finally set in its place. If we give this soil some time to just chill and get its bearings and heal itself, it will do so much better. In fact, I've wanted to show this, I'll get it here. It is a Nebraska Wedding Tomato. And I've grown these Nebraska Wedding Tomato plants in grow bags. And on the package it says it will grow to 3 feet. And in the grow bags that I grew, they grew to about 2 feet. They produced very good tomatoes, but they didn't get very tall. So I thought, maybe it is just because of ideal situations and lack thereof in the grow bag, because the grow bag is limited. The nutrients leach out. I had to keep feeding it. This compost in this bed, and if you've seen my video garden tours every month, at the end of every month I do the garden tours. But if you see those, you'll see that I have beds almost identical to these that have the exact same stuff in them, this equestrian compost. And this tomato here that I'm showing you is now over 4 feet tall. It's a Nebraska Wedding, only supposed to grow 3 feet, but it's 4 feet. It's got tomatoes all over it, little green tomatoes, and it's growing a lot better now that it's in a raised bed. So one big thing is, if you have the space, raised beds are great. If you don't have the space, you can deal with grow bags and pots. You can do it. Some people, that's what they have access to. And so don't think that you can't grow something for yourself. You can. And don't listen to anybody who says this is the only way to do it. Get a hay bale or bury it in 50,000 acres of whatever. I don't know. You hear these claims all the time, these ridiculous claims. There are more ways. There are as many ways to garden as there are gardeners in the world. And I love looking at the different channels and seeing, one channel does it one way. Roots and Refuge does it her way. In fact, she just did a great video on this recently. But she does things her way. And Whispering Willow does things her way. Funny thing is, Whispering Willow now owns the old Roots and Refuge, and she now does it her way. And you can do it your way. You can experiment. That's the thing. Learn, try it out, make mistakes. There's no failure in mistakes. There's only learning in mistakes. And so get out there and, start with one grow bag if you want to. Grow a single tomato. Figure out a tomato. This one seed challenge, I think, that Scott Head does each year now. This is maybe the 3rd year he's doing it, 4th year. Anyway, it's just taking a single seed and figuring it out for the year. And funny thing is, Scott Head has a lot of failures. He has to pick a new seed occasionally. And was it last year? He had to pick 2 or 3 new seeds because they kept dying on him. So, play with it. So let me just show you what I'm going to do here to help grow these beds, because I know the owner of these beds is going to probably start planting out in September, and we'll have some nice fall crops. We're in the panhandle of Florida, so in September we've got about 3 or 4 months of growing season. September, October, November, December. Yeah, we have like 4 months of growing season. It's awesome here in the panhandle of Florida. We are a little more inland than at my place, and we don't have I actually think we do have the Choctawhatchee, I said it right, I didn't say it wrong, Choctawhatchee Bay here. It goes a little bit further, but it's more land between the Choctawhatchee Bay that way and the Gulf of Mexico that way. So it's not as regulatory here as it is in Destin. So anyway, let me just show you what I'm going to do here. So here's the bed, and here's what we're doing. We're simply putting some cardboard across the top and we'll be setting the plants right on top of the cardboard. And the reason we're doing this, number one, the dirt will not be drying out very much because it's going to be covered with cardboard. The cardboard acts as a mulch, keeps it moist, lets it grow and live. This soil has sand in it as well, so it's got very good drainage. However, what's going to happen is it's going to start sinking, and this cardboard is going to create a little bit of a divot in the middle here, and it's going to start catching the water that drains out from these pots. And we're going to put pots the whole length of this, and you can see it overlaps just a little bit to kind of give it a solid seal so nothing grows out the side. So what's going to happen here, not only will the soil get a chance to catch its breath and come alive again and lie fallow for a few months, it's also going to kill all the weed seeds. And I like to call this stuff compost in the wild, because it is truly in the wild. One of these days I'll have to show a video of it. It is covered with weeds and everything else. And when they dig me up some, they pull back the weeds with the blade of the tractor, and then they dig on the dark stuff out underneath. So that's where I get my stuff. And I got tons and tons of weed seeds and weed roots, and I've picked a lot of them out so that it's fairly clean. Not perfect, it's fairly clean. But when we do this right here, let it lie a few months in moist, dark, and those weed seeds will all die. Those roots will all die. Those tubers will all die. They'll try to sprout up and they'll look for light. They're not going to find it. So now these big, beautiful sheets of cardboard are double walled. They have no print anywhere on them. They're just single fold, no tape, no nothing on them at all. And they're big. They're like 7 foot by 6 foot, I think. And I want to tell you where I get these. And I happen to know that the fellow who, his name is Bobby. I don't know he is the manager of the shipping department, but if you go back into plumbing at Lowe's and you go back to the entrance to the shipping department, now do not walk into the shipping department. You're not allowed in there, but you can get someone's attention if you need to. But what you do is you look back there at the trash compactor, or the box compactor, and just up on the left side, like if the trailer was a box compactor, just on the left side, there will be a stack of these up there. And if he has a big stack, he'll give you some. And if you tell him Bowtie sent you, he'll give you some. Maybe might even make fun of you a little bit. but he's a really good guy, and he saves those. He told me, in fact, I just picked these up. He had a lot more in there. He told me, he says, I'm saving these for you. So just be sure to tell him that Bowtie sent you. If you're not here in Destin, Florida, make friends with the people in the shipping department. This is the sheet of cardboard that comes in the truck when they bring the appliances. These things are kind of dividers for the appliances and other stuff on the trucks as they're being shipped in to the stores. And if they don't use these, they might give these to you. So it's one of those things, it's worth building your own community, building your own friends, finding people that are more than happy to help you. If you explain to them that, I use these in the garden, I put them down and put compost on top. That's what happened with Bobby. He said, oh, that's the coolest thing. I never know you could use that for that. And I said, yeah, I've been doing this a long time. And he said, well, dude, I'll save these for you. He's been saving them for me for years now. And I don't know how. In fact, I have filled that trailer twice with cardboard for projects. So, yeah, good option for big old sheets of cardboard. So there we go. Just a little tip that I feel like I've learned along the way, and that's really what it's all about. Here I am in my garden now, and you can see I do this in my own garden. And if you go back and look at some of the past video tours, you'll actually see where I've had cardboard sitting on my fallow beds to let the soil rest and develop. So anyway, it's evening. We're out here in my garden. Obviously I've changed. I've got my gardener shirt on, and we're out here by the pepper bed. But just wanted to say, if you've just stumbled along finding us, please subscribe. And we come out with videos almost every day, so hit the little notification bell so you know when we have videos coming out. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you for coming back. It all helps grow the channel. And if you thought this was informational, educational, inspirational, or just entertaining, click the thumbs up, share with your friends on social media that might enjoy some of these videos about gardening. And I'm getting eaten up by mosquitoes right now, so the bees are getting ready to go to bed for the night themselves. I'm out here by the cathedral oak, but I think I'm gonna call it a night. And I'm tired. I did some paver stones and shoveled a lot of bedding compost, so I'm ready to turn in and probably go to bed early tonight. So thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you joining me in the gardens, and hope you got something out of it. Have a blessed day.